Hello everyone, Professor Kuzluk here. So a couple of days ago, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and the Health and Human Services on the MAHA, released the MAHA report, which was about a little over 70-page report talking about vaccines, a wide variety of things that RFK Jr. has been talking about, investigating since the Trump administration came back to power. I wanted to spend a few minutes talking about this MAHA report because some reporting has come out kind of questioning some of the sources that the MAHA report used. Now, I'm not a subject matter expert on health and human services. It's far outside my expertise as a political scientist. I teach a wide variety of political science issues, but this is certainly outside of my realm of experience. However, something interesting emerged. A couple journalists looked at the citations used in that report. Over 530 citations, I think it was, that were in the report. A couple journalists, received a tip saying some of those citations were either made up or inaccurate. As in, they said a particular individual, an author, wrote a paper that the academic, the researcher, actually didn't write. And so yesterday there was a front page report in the Washington Post. White House MAHA report may have garbled science by using AI, experts say. So this is an interesting phenomenon. Again, I'm not a subject matter expert on this particular case, so I wouldn't know the citations anyway. However, LLMs, things like ChatGPT, have made up citations. So I'm not saying the MAHA report utilized AI. That is for others to argue and others to dig into in research. However, it does bring up this interesting phenomenon of LLMs and what's something that's called phantom citations. So if you go to ChatGPT and you ask it to write you a paper. If you ask it just a question about anything, tell me about the Russian Revolution, tell me about the American Revolution, we've all seen AI in use, we've all seen the byproduct of AI. If you ask it to give you some citations, it will do that. AI, ChatGPT, LLMs will, depending on what program you're using, give you different citations, trying to make it a little bit more academic-y, a little bit more authoritative. But what you will see is, again, these phantom citations. Again, go to ChatGPT, ask it to write you a one-page paper using citations. Some of those citations will be good. They will be real articles from real journals written by real people. However, what you'll encounter is also some made up citations. So maybe the author's real, but they never wrote that paper. Or the paper's real, but the author attributed to it isn't who actually wrote that paper. And then other times, the author and the paper, the journal, is just made up. So if you are familiar with the material, if you ask it to write you something on a topic you know a lot about, you can catch these. You'll see that, hey, I know this scholarship pretty well. This isn't something this person actually wrote. So again, I don't know the MAHA report. It's outside my area of expertise. Journalists, academics, scientists who actually focus on these things will know if the MAHA report, like where these citations came from. But when you start to see Washington Post articles saying maybe AI is used, it does feed into this bigger issue of some of the downsides of AI, and that is that it will make up sources. So if you go to AI, you go to ChatGPT because you just want to learn, and you ask it just a prompt, you're not plagiarizing, you just want to learn. And you ask it a prompt, it sends you back some, you're like, okay, can I have some sources that I can go dig into deeper? it might make those sources up, and that can of course be a downside of ChatGPT, because then you're not really learning the way you should. So we'll see what happens with the MAHA report. I know RFK Jr. in his office has been asked about these citations, and they haven't really given a clear answer yet. So maybe over the next few days we'll get a better understanding of how these citations were created. But setting that aside, as we see more and more usage of AI, more and more usage of LLMs and ChatGPT, it is something to be hesitant about. Because if you ask it to give you citations, make sure those are actually real citations, and make sure those are actually real things. So if our goal is to learn and our goal is to better understand the world, we just need to make sure that we are actually looking at real sources. So it caught my attention, and I thought it was worth talking about. Thank you.